everyone, and a very warm welcome back to Grow English Mastery Podcast. I'm Scarlett, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today. Before we begin our main story, let's go over our learning roadmap for this lesson. First, we will discover the story of Nobel Prize-winning scientist Emmanuelle Charpentier and her essential role in the CRISPR discovery. Second, we will learn 10 key vocabulary words to help you discuss science and research. And finally, we will focus on an important grammar point, the passive voice, which is essential for scientific English. So, with our goals set, let's explore a discovery that is changing our world. Maybe you've heard of CRISPR, or perhaps gene editing sounds like something from a science fiction movie. Well, it's very real, and Emmanuelle Charpentier is one of the key figures behind this incredible innovation. Her journey into the world of microbiology and genetics is a fantastic story of curiosity, dedication, and collaboration. Emmanuelle Charpentier was born on December 11, 1968, in Juvisy-sur-Orge, a town in France. From a young age, she was curious about the world around her. She studied biochemistry, microbiology, and genetics at the Pierre and Marie Curie University in Paris. These are all fields of science that look at life at a very small level. Think about tiny living things like bacteria, and the very instructions that make us who we are, our DNA. After her studies in France, her scientific journey took her to different countries, including the United States, Austria, and Sweden, and later Germany. Working in various research institutions allowed her to gain diverse experiences and collaborate with scientists from different backgrounds. This international experience is quite common for scientists who are often looking for the best places to conduct their specific research. Professor Charpentier was particularly interested in understanding how bacteria, which are tiny single-celled organisms, fight off viruses. You might know that viruses can infect us and make us sick, but viruses can also infect bacteria. Bacteria have their own immune systems, ways to protect themselves. It was while studying a particular bacterium called Streptococcus pyogenes that Emmanuelle Charpentier and her team made a key discovery. They found a previously unknown molecule called tracrRNA, pronounced tracer RNA. They realized that this tracrRNA played a crucial role in the bacterium's defense system. This system is called CRISPR-Cas9. Now, what is CRISPR-Cas9? The name CRISPR stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. That's a very long and technical name. But don't worry too much about memorizing it. What's important is what it does. Essentially, CRISPR-Cas9 is a system that bacteria use to cut the DNA of invading viruses, thereby disabling them. Think of it like a pair of molecular scissors that can find a very specific spot in the DNA and make a cut. Emmanuelle Charpentier published her findings on tracrRNA in 2011. Soon after, she began a very important collaboration with an American biochemist named Jennifer Doudna. Professor Doudna was also an expert in RNA and had been working on the Cas9 protein, which is the scissor part of the CRISPR system. Together, Charpentier and Doudna, along with their teams, figured out how the CRISPR-Cas9 system worked in bacteria and, crucially, how it could be simplified and reprogrammed to cut any DNA sequence at a precise location. This was the monumental breakthrough. They showed that this natural bacterial defense system could be harnessed as a powerful gene editing tool. This means scientists could now potentially change or repair genes in a very precise way. Imagine DNA as a very long instruction manual in our cells. Sometimes there's a mistake in the manual, a typo, which can lead to genetic diseases. CRISPR-Cas9 offers the possibility of finding that specific typo and correcting it. They published their landmark findings in the journal Science in 2012, and the scientific world quickly recognized the immense potential of their discovery. The development of CRISPR-Cas9 as a gene editing tool has been described as a revolution in biology. Why? Because it's relatively simple to use, it's much faster, cheaper, and more precise than older gene editing methods. This technology has opened up countless possibilities. Scientists are exploring its use to treat genetic diseases like cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, and Huntington's disease. It could also be used to develop new therapies for cancer, to combat viral infections like HIV, and even to create crops that are more resistant to disease or climate change. The potential applications are vast and incredibly exciting. For their groundbreaking work, Emmanuelle Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna were awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2020. This was a historic achievement, as it was the first time that this prestigious scientific prize was shared by two women without a male collaborator. Their Nobel Prize recognized the power of their discovery to rewrite the code of life. Of course, like any powerful technology, CRISPR-Cas9 also brings ethical questions. If we can edit genes, how should this power be used? What are the potential risks? These are important discussions that scientists, ethicists, and society as a whole need to have. For example, questions about editing human embryos or making changes that could be passed down through generations are complex. Emmanuelle Charpentier herself has actively participated in these ethical discussions, emphasizing the need for responsible development and use of the technology. Her story is one of dedication to fundamental research, that is, research aimed at understanding basic scientific principles. Her curiosity about how bacteria defend themselves led to a tool that could change human health. It also highlights the power of collaboration in science. Discoveries are often built on the work of many, and the partnership between Charpentier and Doudna is a perfect example of this. Let's now look at some key vocabulary from our discussion about Emmanuelle Charpentier and CRISPR. Understanding these words will help you understand scientific topics better. I'll give you the word, its meaning, and some examples. Groundbreaking, adjective, innovative, pioneering, introducing new ideas or methods. Spelling: Groundbreaking. Emmanuelle Charpentier's work on CRISPR was truly groundbreaking. The scientist received an award for her groundbreaking research. This new software is a groundbreaking development in artificial intelligence. Genetic, genetics, adjective, noun. Genetic relates to genes or heredity. Genetics is the study of heredity and the variation of inherited characteristics. Spelling: Genetic. CRISPR technology can be used to treat genetic diseases. She is studying genetic mutations in fruit flies. Genetics is a complex but fascinating field of biology. Molecule, molecular noun, adjective. A molecule is a group of atoms bonded together, representing the smallest fundamental unit of a chemical compound that can take part in a chemical reaction. Molecular means relating to molecules. Spelling: M-O-L-E-C-U-L-E, M-O-L-E-C-U-L-A-R. DNA is a very complex molecule that carries genetic information. CRISPR-Cas9 works at a molecular level to edit genes. She is a specialist in molecular biology. Bacterium, bacteria noun. A bacterium is a single-celled microorganism. Bacteria is the plural form. Spelling: B-A-C-T-E-R-I-U-M, B-A-C-T-E-R-I-A. Streptococcus pyogenes is a type of bacterium. Some bacteria are harmful, but many are beneficial. Scientists study bacteria to understand basic life processes. Collaborate, collaboration, verb, noun. To collaborate means to work jointly on an activity or project. Collaboration is the action of working with someone to produce something. Spelling: C-O-L-A-B-O-R-A-T-E, C-O-L-A-B-O-R-A-T-I-O-N. Emmanuelle Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna collaborated to develop CRISPR technology. International collaboration is common in scientific research. The success of the project was due to effective collaboration between the teams. Mechanism noun. A natural or established process by which something takes place or is brought about. Or, it can be a system of parts working together in a machine. Spelling: M-E-C-H-A-N-I-S-M. They studied the defense mechanism bacteria use against viruses. Understanding the mechanism of the disease is key to finding a cure. The locking mechanism on the door is broken. Precision noun. The quality, condition, or fact of being exact and accurate. Spelling: P-R-E-C-I-S-I-O-N. CRISPR allows scientists to edit genes with great precision. The surgeon operated with skill and precision. Accuracy and precision are very important in scientific measurements. Revolutionize, verb, to change, something, radically or fundamentally. Spelling: R-E-V-O-L-U-T-I-O-N-I-Z-E. CRISPR technology has the potential to revolutionize medicine. The Internet revolutionized how we communicate and access information. His invention revolutionized the entire industry. Ethical, adjective, relating to moral principles or the branch of knowledge dealing with these. Spelling: E-T-H-I-C-A-L. The use of gene editing technology raises some ethical questions. Scientists must consider the ethical implications of their research. It is important to make ethical decisions in business. Breakthrough noun. A sudden, dramatic, and important discovery or development. Spelling: B-R-E-A-K-T-H-R-O-U-G-H. the development of CRISPR was a major breakthrough in genetics. Scientists are hoping for a breakthrough in cancer research. After years of work, the negotiators finally achieved a breakthrough. These words are common in discussions about science and technology. Try to notice them when you read or listen to English, and practice using them. Now that we've explored some important vocabulary related to Emmanuelle Charpentier's work and CRISPR, let's shift our focus. The next section is the grammar review, where we'll look at some structures often used when discussing scientific discoveries and processes. We will focus particularly on the past simple tense and the passive voice. First, let's quickly revisit the past simple tense. We use this for completed actions or events in the past. Emmanuelle Charpentier's biography and the story of the CRISPR discovery are full of examples. Emmanuelle Charpentier was born in France. She studied biochemistry and genetics. Her team discovered the tracrRNA molecule. Charpentier and Doudna published their findings in 2012. They received the Nobel Prize in 2020. Remember, for regular verbs, we add ed, studied, published. For irregular verbs, the form changes, was born, received, though receive is regular, be born is a common passive past structure. Now, let's talk about the passive voice. The passive voice is very common in scientific writing, and when talking about discoveries or processes, we use the passive voice when the person or thing doing the action, the agent, is unknown, unimportant, or less important than the action itself or the person, thing affected by the action. The focus is on the action or the result. The structure of the passive voice is subject plus form of to be, am, is, are, was, were, been, plus past participle, third form of the verb. Let's look at some examples related to CRISPR. Active voice. Bacteria use CRISPR, Cas9 to cut viral DNA. Passive voice. CRISPR. Cas9 is used by bacteria to cut viral DNA. Passive voice. Viral DNA is cut by CRISPR-Cas9. Here are more examples related to our topic. TracrRNA was discovered by Charpentier's team. The CRISPR-Cas9 system was adapted for gene editing. Genes can be edited with great precision using this technology. Genetic diseases might be treated with CRISPR in the future. The Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to Charpentier and Doudna in 2020. Why is passive voice so common in science? It helps to maintain an objective tone. Science often tries to be objective, focusing on facts and processes rather than personal involvement. Sometimes the doer of the action is obvious, or not the main point. For example, the solution was heated to 100 degrees Celsius. We don't always need to say, the scientist heated the solution. It allows scientists to put the most important information at the beginning of the sentence. Let's compare active and passive. Active. Charpentier and Doudna simplified the CRISPR system. Passive. The CRISPR system was simplified by Charpentier and Doudna. Here, we still mention the agents with by because they are important. Sometimes, the agent is not mentioned at all in the passive voice if it's unknown or not important. The samples were analyzed yesterday. New applications for CRISPR are being explored constantly. So, when you read or hear about scientific topics, pay attention to when the passive voice is used. It's a key feature of scientific English. When you write or speak about processes or discoveries, think about whether the passive voice might be more appropriate if you want to emphasize the action or the result, rather than who performed the action. How can you practice all this? Learning about science in English can be fun. Here are some ideas for practicing the vocabulary and grammar we've covered, focusing on the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For listening, first, as always, you can re-listen to this lesson. Focus on the pronunciation of the new words and how the passive voice and past tenses are used to describe Emmanuelle Charpentier's work and CRISPR. Second, search for videos online that explain CRISPR in simple terms. There are many good animated videos made for a general audience. They often use clear language and visuals. Try to listen for the key vocabulary and the passive voice. For speaking, first, try to explain what CRISPR is to a friend, or just to yourself. Can you describe it in 1 or 2 simple sentences using some of the new vocabulary? For example, CRISPR is a groundbreaking technology that was developed by scientists like Emmanuelle Charpentier. It can be used to edit genes with precision. Second, discuss the potential benefits or ethical concerns of CRISPR. What do you think about this technology? This is a great way to practice expressing opinions. Third, practice saying the new vocabulary words aloud. For reading, first, look for articles about Emmanuelle Charpentier or CRISPR written for learners of English or for a general audience. Websites like Science News for Students or simplified sections of major news outlets can be good sources. As you read, highlight the new vocabulary and examples of the passive voice. Second, if you find a scientific article that seems too difficult, just try to understand the abstract, the summary at the beginning, or the introduction and conclusion. These parts often give the main ideas. For writing, first, write a short paragraph about Emmanuelle Charpentier, summarizing her major achievement. Try to use the past simple to describe her journey and the passive voice to describe the discovery or its impact. For example, Emmanuelle Charpentier is a French scientist. She was awarded the Nobel Prize because CRISPR technology was co-developed by her. Second, write about what you find most interesting or most concerning about gene editing technology. Use some of the vocabulary words like genetic, ethical, revolutionize, or breakthrough. Third, try to transform active sentences about science into passive sentences. For example, active, scientists discovered a new planet. Passive, a new planet was discovered. The most important thing is to be curious and to engage with the material. Don't be afraid if you don't understand everything at first. Science is complex, but learning about it step by step in English can be very rewarding. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of genetics and scientific discovery today. It's been quite an exploration into the life and work of Emmanuelle Charpentier and the CRISPR technology. Let's summarize the key takeaways from our lesson. First, we learned about Professor Emmanuelle Charpentier, a French scientist who, along with Jennifer Doudna, developed the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing tool. Her work on bacterial immune systems led to this revolutionary technology. Second, we learned that CRISPR-Cas9 is a groundbreaking technology that allows scientists to make precise changes to DNA. It has enormous potential for treating diseases and advancing biological research. Third, we expanded our vocabulary with important terms like groundbreaking, genetic, molecule, bacterium, collaborate, mechanism, precision, revolutionize, ethical, and breakthrough. These are valuable words for understanding scientific discussions. Fourth, we reviewed the past simple tense for talking about past events and focused on the passive voice, which is frequently used in scientific English to describe processes and discoveries when the focus is on the action or result. And finally, we discussed different ways to practice your English skills using this topic. I hope this lesson has not only helped your English but also sparked your curiosity about science and the amazing discoveries happening around us. Learning English is a journey of discovery too. It requires a positive attitude, perseverance, and a willingness to explore new things. So, I encourage you to be persistent in your studies. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. They are part of the learning process. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Trust in your ability to learn and improve. Be curious, ask questions, and keep exploring the world through English. Thank you so much for joining me for this lesson on Grow English Mastery. I truly enjoy sharing these stories and helping you on your English learning path. Now, it's your turn to share. What did you find most interesting about Emmanuelle Charpentier's story or the CRISPR technology? Do you have any questions? Please let me know in the comments section below. I always look forward to reading your thoughts and insights. If you found this video helpful and engaging, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports our channel. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing to Grow English Mastery and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss our future lessons. We have many more interesting topics planned to help you improve your English. Feel free to share this video with friends or anyone you think might be interested in learning English through fascinating stories like this one. Thank you again for your time and dedication. Keep up the great work, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next lesson here on Grow English Mastery. Bye for now.